As I scrolled through Threads and Bluesky and the charred scraps of debris that used to be Twitter, I saw a ton of artwork and videos that looked just like Ghibli, but absolutely nothing that felt like Ghibli. This video got a bit long, so I cut the part where I talk about copyright because I've talked about that before, and the too long didn't read on that is this. No, I don't think it's legal for Sam Altman to take all of Ghibli team's work, feed it into their machine for the purpose of making money, and then use Ghibli's brand that was built over decades through their groundbreaking animation and hard work without their permission just to promote his company. But if you clicked on this video, you probably already knew that. So a little story. A few weeks ago, I started working on a video, writing a script, doing research, some rough sketches, ideas. The working title was How to Ghibli Yourself. And basically it was me learning the Ghibli style. And I was telling that story, passing along what I had learned in a video essay format, where I talk about what makes the style, and explore the artist behind it. Miyazaki, Nishikawa, all of those legends. So basically, it was my love letter to Ghibli. So I've laid the groundwork for this video. I post these types of videos on my other channel. I just released a video this past week, and that video was called How I Finally Learned How to Draw Hands. And it's a similar concept, right? It's a story behind what was holding me back and why I stumbled over trying to learn how to draw hands, and talked about the resources and things like that that helped me finally learn. So the Ghibli video was going to be the next video, and the day that I published the hands video, I took a deep breath because it takes weeks to make one of those videos and get it out the door. In the last few days leading up to the release, I am just heads down trying to finish. So it's finally done. I go online to promote this thing. I'm on social media and it's just all Ghibli stuff, like everywhere. Like what just happened? There's people over here posted Ghibli versions of themselves, people over here making memes in the Ghibli style, and then there's people all the way over here who are like mad about it. And as you probably know by now, OpenAI has launched their own AI image generator within ChatGPT to promote it. They have really focused on the Ghibli cartoon style to take your photos or whatever and basically turn them into Ghibli illustrations. They did this all to draw attention to themselves, and boy, did it ever work. And this is gonna sound so stupid because it is stupid, but it's how I felt. It was like a punch in the gut because I had spent all that time and energy making that video and I was ready to roll into full production of it, and now I don't know what I'm gonna work on or do over the next few weeks. I'm like way behind schedule now, and that's a stupid reason to be mad about this, but it was frustrating. As I scrolled through Threads and Bluesky and the charred scraps of debris that used to be Twitter, most of what I saw were people goofing around with the image generator, trying it out, some getting crazier than others. I saw a ton of artwork and videos that looked just like Ghibli, but absolutely nothing that felt like Ghibli. And I kept coming back to something I've heard a lot in the last 2 years, which is people saying, just you wait, this is just the beginning, it's gonna get better and better and better. And I don't know. I mean, from a technical standpoint, I believe that. We've already seen a lot of progress in the last few years. There is so much more to making something than the thing you see come out the other side. And unless you've made things, you don't necessarily realize that. When it comes to AI, there's this divide between the people who are in the business of making things and then the people who are like using the things. And many of the people who are making the things are like, no, this cannot replace what I do. Maybe part of what I do, but not the important parts of what I do. And the people who use the things are quick to point out, well, you just feel that way because your jobs are in jeopardy or because we don't need you anymore. And granted, that is something I have thought about. I'm sure other people have worried about it too. What is the future going to be like, and what is my role in it? When you make something, anything, music, illustration, movies, video games, you are making hundreds of thousands of choices along the way. Some of those choices are just baked into memory muscle and you've been doing it long enough, but still the choices are there. When you look at a scene from one of the Ghibli movies, one of Miyazaki's movies, it's all about communication. It's communicating a feeling, it's communicating parts of the story, and the team is so good at visually communicating in novel and interesting ways. I don't care how many times you ask an AI image generator to create an image of a town, it will never give you this. This gives you such a great sense of place. I just want to go there. I can smell this town. I feel like I know it just from one still image. Look at this kid hanging off the front of this plane while another one runs alongside it. This is storytelling. It says so much. The personality here. Same with this image, the personalities here, those faces in the water, the ideas in this shot, or just simple shots like this one. How do we communicate the relationship between two characters without having to spell it out and just say it? Every frame of one of Miyazaki's movies is making so many choices. What do you want the audience to know right now? What are you going to save for later? How do you want them to know that? How do your characters feel about the events that are unfolding? You know that the characters are excited, or if they're not excited, maybe those characters are feeling a little unsure. How are you going to communicate that to people? He does that so well. Even when there's a scene without a lot of action and things are just kind of calm and mundane, he still frames things so well and interestingly. The AI doesn't know any of these things because it's incapable of feeling. So how can it ever make something that makes you feel something? Great storytelling is not analytical. Of course, some try to make it analytical. This is a hero's journey. 3/4 of the way through, the mentor has to die. The AI can say, okay, make the line art this thick, use this kind of color palette, make the characters flat art, make the backgrounds painterly. It can do the analytical part. I just haven't seen it do anything above and beyond that. Not even a little. This clip floated around a few years back of Miyazaki being utterly disgusted by some computer animation things that one of his animators was showing him. He calls it creepy and an insult to life itself. I really hope this translation is accurate and he's not talking about pancakes or something, because this is awesome. He knows when he's looking at that the computer is just making movement for movement's sake, and he wants every choice in his movies to be deliberate because that's where the soul of his art is. I'll put this into another context, one that I've thought about a lot. My reviews here on this channel. On one level, I could totally be replaced by AI. I bet 5 years from now, it will be possible to create an AI Brad that looks and sounds just like me, totally indistinguishable. And you could generate an iPad review script, probably using ChatGPT. We all know what an iPad looks like. They haven't changed in years. AI can make B-roll that even looks like my B-roll. You put it all together, and once the tech is good enough, it can make a video that will be indistinguishable from one of my standard iPad reviews. At least indistinguishable to many casual viewers, because really, iPads don't change that much from release to release. And a review is a review. We all know that format. But when Apple releases a new feature, I try it. And I'm like, this doesn't really fit into my workflow. Then I tell you why. Another reviewer might say, wow, this fits perfectly into my workflow. And then they're going to tell you why. I think that's the most valuable part of any review. An AI cannot do that part. It can only parrot what it has ingested. It can't experience something new. A human has to tell it to scrape something first before it can output it. Whatever comes out of an AI has to be experienced and written down and placed on the internet by a person first. And that's why I think the term machine learning is so weird, because it looks a lot more like data processing than the way a normal person usually learns. Our copyright laws are literally built around this idea of fair use, and it is a thing because as a human, you will experience something. You will absorb information whether you want to or not. Learning is our default state. So is forgetting, which is something an AI can't do. Which means humans have to experience it first, put it into a format a machine could read before that can be stored and regurgitated into a review. And even then, it doesn't have any context for that experience. I am an illustrator. It doesn't necessarily know that. Someone else might be talking about note-taking on an iPad. It doesn't necessarily know that. So when it regurgitates something, you're losing that. And at the same time, there's often no right or wrong answers for an experience. My friend from California might tell you that today it's really cold here, but it's 50 degrees in Ohio in March. It's actually really warm out. I bet there's going to be like 1 billion AI review channels here on YouTube just because it seems like low-hanging fruit. And early on, I bet some of them take off. But I also think customers will learn early that they should distrust them because they're only going to be regurgitating the talking points that they have access to. The value of a review is the experience a person had and why, not in the format of the review itself. And in the future, I would be surprised if my reviews focus less on specs and more on experience to offset the AI. And reviews, if we're being honest here, are pretty dang uncreative when you compare them to a Miyazaki movie. The number of choices and experiences that are poured into those movies are just insane. That's what makes them so special. So special that other humans are constantly trying to replicate those movies and figure out what makes them so special, and they fail all the time. And that's because Ghibli is not just color and paint strokes and line weight. So like I said, I've seen AI get technically better at things over the last few years, but I've seen zero evidence in that time that they will ever be able to tell a good story or make millions of people feel something the way that a Ghibli film does. This idea that you could just type something into a text box and the AI is going to generate a movie for you based on your preferences just sounds like pure fantasy. Being a creator of any kind is going to change. I don't know how, but demand for that authentic human content is going to be stronger in the future, flooded with slop, not weaker. What do you think? Let me know down below in the comments. Thank you all for watching, and I'll talk to you in a couple of days.